here we are then in 2025, and all of the graft, all of the anguish and the pain and the moments when it all seemed like the impossible dream, you know, the road work, the cheap hotels, but most importantly, that continued belief that when you know what you want and you want it badly enough, you'll find a way to get it. And that is exactly where you're at here with this outrageously good album.
Well, thank you very much, Tim. It's very kind of you to say. I think we say it often that there's never been a plan B. We put all the eggs in this basket. It's rock and roll or die. So, there's never another option. We've just got to keep going.
There was this great quote from Ayn Rand, who you will know, obviously, and it fits you guys perfectly. And it said, it's not a case of who's going to let me or us. It's who's going to stop us.
Is that from Atlas Shrugged?
I think it is, yeah.
It's a wonderful quote. I love that quote.
It's brilliant, isn't it? But it does sum you up, doesn't it? You know, this whole, if you want it badly, nobody's going to get in the way.
Absolutely. I mean, why? First of all, why would they?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you said, it's been quite a few years that we've been together. But I find that, we're always just growing and experimenting and, continuing to evolve just like humans should. So I'm very, very happy that we still love each other and still want to keep doing what we're doing and enjoy working together and enjoy being in the van and and touring and doing everything that has to do with releasing our music. So we love it. There's no other choice.
And as is the case here with these things, there's a good story behind this album's coming into being. You sent out demos to producers, so more than one. And this is almost like the Hail Mary, isn't it? Your emails have gone out, and such is the confidence in yourselves, you've decided that one has to go to Bob Rock. Now, this guy obviously is no ordinary producer. 27-time Juno winner. He's a Grammy winner and possibly one of the greatest masters of his art there has been. What did you really think was the chance you were going to get a reply? Seriously.
Well, let's just say that when he did reply, none of us could speak. We couldn't, we all basically peed our pants. It was absolutely unbelievable because we didn't think. Yeah, because I mean, we're not only so we have the guts to send the music, but now we also have to perform in front of him. Like we actually have to be in the same room with him and be good. I knew that was
exactly
going to happen.
the reaction that we had when
I have
Bob
to find a
called.
better place for
Everyone
this.
dropped their phones.
Sorry,
But
I
it
had
was
it all set up, but that's the problem with me. I set things up wrong.
All right. Band is fueled on hope and dreams, so we do a lot of hoping, a lot of dreaming, and lately a lot of manifesting, and we're hoping that it all comes together this year for us, and our upwards trip continues in the upward.
You were out on tour though, Dave, with Glenn Hughes at the time. Now you knew Lee, because it was a text and a call to you, so you knew the following morning. So when you actually woke up and were told, this is it, was there a feeling of, wow, we're going to have, if there's another level above A game, this is where we've got to be?
It was really just maybe the beginning of the story, for the record, because, he let us know that he wanted to do the record, but it would be many, many months before we would get into the studio and wrote the songs that he wanted to hear, to build into actually getting in there and making the record, So it was very exciting at the onset, of course. But it was really just the beginning, let's just say.
Did it immediately bring an increased level of pressure? Was there, you suddenly, today is now very different to yesterday. Today, it became serious.
For sure, of course, yeah. I mean, it's Bob Rock, and I guess we all have varying levels of nerves, but I mean, already with the foot in the door, and he was interested in working with the band and had an affinity, probably for Lee-la and for the sound of the band. It's that already is a relief and a pressure off. But we still have to make the record,
What were your expectations of him? What did you think that he could do to your sound as a band? Where did you think he could help take you?
Good question. I mean, for myself, maybe at the time it was unclear what he would bring. We had seen films of how he works and what he might do. Obviously, we all listened to his records, and his records sound amazing. But it was only once we got in the studio that we really saw that he was more of a song maker than a sound maker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Looking at lyrics and looking at the feel and the vibe of the song. So, and he's really just a interpersonal kind of guy. Yeah, all of the amazing stuff that you're sitting with in the studios is not really that important to him. It's really more about the artist, the song, the lyrics, and the feel of the song.
He hasn't been afraid over the years to take bands in different directions. He did it most famously, of course, with Metallica, taking them from the period of And Justice for All and then producing the Black Album, one of the biggest selling albums ever. Was there ever a concern for you that he could be moving you in a different direction to get the success? Yeah, to elevate you maybe to million seller and playing massive arenas.
I think, for me, there was never, it's never a fear per se of like, oh no, what's going to happen? Are we going to turn into something else? Because we're the damn truth. We have always known very clearly what we love and what we don't love. And it's very clear in the studio. And the minute we got to hang out with Bob and to see the kind of person he is not the kind of person who's like, this is what I say goes and just do it. It's not like that at all. It's let's try a bunch of things. Let's come back into the room and listen back on the speakers. And the speakers do not lie. So he could come up with a great idea or a great hook and we'll listen back and it'll sound awesome. Or one of us would come up with it, and sometimes the ideas are great and they translate fantastically, and sometimes they're not so great because we totally try everything. We came very open-minded to our sessions, with knowing what an incredible producer he is, and knowing that this could only make things better. So I think that in that positive attitude, we all won.
Yeah, sure. But when I hear you, I feel the spirit of Led Zeppelin. Those were his words. Now, to be mentioned in the same breath as a band, for some, who are the greatest rock and roll band ever, by a producer who's been involved in some of the biggest selling albums ever, this is just the endorsement that you want, isn't it? I mean, this is huge.
Totally. I mean, absolutely, like that. Yeah. Like that moment, because that was what he told us on that first initial phone call. And he was like, I was listening to the demos, and I hear the essence. I hear. The minute he said that, it was just, you get it. You get us. You get it. I mean, we absolutely adore Zepp and adore, that time in music. The 60s and 70s were from our biggest inspirations in music. And it's just, it was like the clencher. It was like, okay, he knows exactly what we want to do and we're going to do it, and, we're very, 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 very amazed and humbled, but at the same time, we really believe that we could do this, that we could do this together, that Bob will elevate us to that next level. And he did.
So let's talk about the album, and I'll pick out some songs in a second. But when it was finished and you guys got to sit and listen to playback, to the completed article for the first time, what were your immediate reactions? I mean, you know it's good, but what did you think?
Oh, man. Does someone else want to start? I feel like I've been talking my ass off.
Yeah, for me, I don't know if there was like a moment as you're defining it, because we made the record, and as it sounded in the studio the day that we cut the tracks, and as we built it, and to the point where we finished it, there was not this like moment where the door was open and something magical happened, down the line. When we laid down the tracks, the bed tracks, on that day in studio, and built from there, was, we were hearing our record. We were hearing it grow, So, getting to the end of the process and hearing the big final thing after it's mixed and mastered, it's very special. Maybe when we heard it off of vinyl was really like an aha moment. But I mean, when Lee-la sang her lead vocal that day in the studio, was the day that we heard the record. And I think a lot of us, cried tears of joy hearing that through the speakers, but it was there that day in that studio, and maybe not on the back end when it was all done. For me, anyway.
Were you moved, PY?
Definitely, and like you said at the end, when you come to that completed phase, when you can listen to it top to bottom in the proper track listing and like hear the life in the record, it really is something. You see all the decisions made down the line, all the little moments where it was like, I don't know if this is going to work, or I don't know if I like this, or this is amazing. And you get to see all those moments compacted into one nice little box. And it does have a little bit of a, wow, I actually love this now, or I'm hearing this completely different. And like, you get to evolve your perception of the record after months of playing the songs together for us, then being all nervous to play them for Bob and practicing our balls off, and then playing them for Bob live tracked and listening back, and all these moments. It is heavy. Yeah, it was heavy.
There is a lot going on here. First play, as a listener, as a fan, you're lapping up this crescendo of noise, the riffs, the guitar solos, the bass, the drum sound, and of course the extraordinary vocals. But when you delve deeper into the lyrics, this is where you find that there is this emotional sprawl. We have love, we have loss, destiny. At times, this is a really very personal album.
Yeah, for sure. I think that that's really the only way that we know how to write, when it comes from somewhere deep, deep inside. And I think that a lot of our writing, as much as like when we're on the road, like things will have a lot of like hooks or rhythms, or like I'll be recording little melodies into our phone when we're touring and whatever. But it's really when we come back home and sort of live a little, like go back into real life and sort of experience whatever it is that real life is, because tour life is a whole other life. But when you're sort of connected back in with your community and your world and your extended family, is sort of when you kind of take a breath, and for me anyway, that's where the real writing comes, when sort of you can take a step back and sort of, yeah, if it's social commentary, or if it's like personal stories, I think it's a mixed bag of it all, to be able to to reflect on sort of where my heart is, or where we're at the moment.
Bob gave you access, as well I understand, to this incredible collection of vintage guitars that he has. Did anybody make use of this?
Oh yes. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, Tom isn't with us, but you guys can repeat some of the incredible guitars that he managed to. The thing.
You might play some cool guitars.
It's pretty awesome that he just kind of like goes and hears something in his head after a take, and he's like, all right, guys, 10-minute break. I'm going to send Buddy to go get this guitar, this bass, this mic, this. And he knows what he wants to hear, like down to the guitar, you know? Then he gets the guitar, and then he plays the guitar first. And he's like, this needs a setup. And then sets it up and gets it all perfect for the recording. And then we get to use that stuff. And I mean, I played the bass from Summer of '69, which is a 60s P bass. Tom had like Rickenbackers, Jimmy Page, Telly, the Tom Petty Rickenbacker. We had what's that little white guitar? Johnny Winter's little
Vox.
The Vox guitar, yeah. Lee-la had Frank Sinatra's mic at one point. The Metallica mic came out. It was just, and it's just for him. It's just like, yeah, take it. Do whatever.
No. It was like there was a point there when we were surrounded by like 30 guitars, you know, there was just trying and let's not talk about the pedals and it's
the pedals.
It's
oh my God.
unbelievable to be able to have that treasure trove of gear to be able to use to have at our disposal. And it was so inspiring. There were like licks that came out of Tom and solos that he had never played ever before. And like by picking up that 1950s guitar and, you know, like the sound and the way his fingers, you know, worked on the fretboard, that was like, I don't, you know, it's magic. It's magic.
Something that's not mentioned often is actually the drums we used. We arrived and it was like not something we've done before. Dave, you could probably speak about it more, but we arrived and it was a full metal drum kit, not the genre. Like the drum kit was made of metal.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We had never used that before, but Bob was adamant about we're using this kit.
Well, I mean, we recorded at the Warehouse Studio, which is Bryan Adams' recording studio in Vancouver, Canada, which is already like laid out with like incredible instruments. And Bob has like a mini container of his personal collection because he only works out of the Warehouse Studio in BC. So it's like drums and amps and guitars and pedals. And every
Nice.
time it's time to lay something down, he'll be like, go get the Gibson, get the SG, get the 59 Les Paul, get the pedals and and when it came to the drums, he went out and he got this big stainless steel drum kit, you know? Which are not too common to find. They're very heavy. They're very, 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 very powerful. It's just, you know, something really, really unique. It gives a certain sound to the drum recording. You know, he brought out the, I think it's called, it's a famous snare drum, some $50,000 odd snare drum. Crazy stuff, you know, just like really, really, really fun to sit down and have all these toys and be in that room and play in that space. And it's all just magical, you know? Gives us a little extra
Inspiration.
I don't know what it gives us. It gives us a little
inspiration.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the album, the songs on the album. Be Somebody to start, which is the perfect place to start because this is like going back to the very beginning. You know, you or somebody who wanted to make their mark in life, wanted to make their mother proud, landing in a big city, perhaps moments of self-doubt, but just like sticking with it and determined to make it a success. So it was a perfect lyric for the beginning of the album, the perfect song.
Well, thank you very much. We think so.
Kind of is the story of who each and every one who does this is, you know? It's that yearning that there is something coming for you, but you just have to hang on through all the hardship. And sometimes the hardship, it makes you want to let go, but if you want to be somebody, you just got to get a grip.
That's so cool, though, that you take. Sorry, I'm sorry, I'm butting in because I've never heard PY's thought to it. Like I wrote it in of a very, very personal place, like not really about fame or fortune or our. It was more of like, you know, loving myself but what's so nice is that everyone can take what they feel from it. That's what, you know, songs are, you know, they've gotta leave you with room to find yourself within them. And each one of us is different. So I think it's really nice it's nice to hear your what you feel towards it, PY.
Yeah, it is a great story. And there is a strand that runs through. I mean, because putting the song order together is another real skill in itself. I mean, I never realized this until talking to people when I first became involved in this. I just thought they got a load of songs and chucked them on an album. That was it. But there's a real science to this and the way it's put together.
Oh, it's really hard. It took us, like, it was not easy. We consulted with Bob as well. He became so wonderfully involved in the project from start to finish, from demos to, to the mix, to every little thing. And so that he's become a really great friend and confidant. Like, he's amazing. We keep talking about his expertise, which is amazing, but he's an incredible human as well. He's a beautiful man, with so much insight, and he really did help us shape. He kind of said, let's do this the 60s, the classic way, the bangers. He knows exactly where to put the bangers, knows exactly where to put the ballad, knows exactly where we should flip the album. Like, he was very confident as to, he knew how it had to work. So, like, at the end of the day, we're like, sure, Bob, do it. Let's do it. Because we could go back and forth changing songs around and, thinking that this should be and it's like, you know what? Bob has an amazing vision. We went with his set. Am I right? Right? I think we went with his set list at the end. It was back and forth for a while, but I think it was his set list that, like, yes, you got it, man. Because it was like a few songs there that we weren't sure. Most of it, we had that same idea. Be Somebody was always going to be first, and Dying Dove was always going to be last, and then finding the right balance between them all, and yeah.
It's something that we fight with all the time. Not fight, but something that we work with all the time. Especially then you have to do it again for the live show.
Oh, of course.
Then you got the new songs and the old songs, and which old songs do you spare? And where do they fit within this new paradigm?
This is why so many people, isn't it, decide when they go out to do a show, and they've got a great album, they'll say, right, okay, part one of the show was in two parts. Part one, we're going to be doing the new album. And then at the end of it, we'll do the best bits from everything else.
We're not there yet.
Well, so you moved on from that to I Just Gotta Let You Know, and then we're into Love Out of Luck, which is a fantastic song. Love the bass intro to this, which has got a real sort of new wave punk feel to it, and then
totally.
It's just in your face. And again, you go back to the story. Somebody who's impulsive, making poor decisions, then they've obviously gone, and it's what you've got to do to get them back, because can't take you and I can't leave you. It's the absolute story of indecision at the end of the day. Don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Totally, absolutely. That's spot on for me anyway. It's all about, like, the black and white, the good with the bad, all of that craziness of relationship and of yourself within a relationship. I mean, it's yeah, absolutely. And how do you balance all of that?
With difficulty, but this is going to be one of those songs, isn't it? You could either say, right, okay, well, this is a brilliant show opener, or this is the first song of the encore. It could go anywhere because it is such a great track. But the one thing that that you'll never be able to do is a show without putting that in it.
I like that. That's quite true. It is so. All I can say is that it is so fun to play. It is so fun to perform it and to exude the essence of that song. It is. It's like I don this character that I don't even realize is happening. It's just something in the nuance of the way I sing, or the way I guess, yeah, the way I'm singing it and the way I'm performing it, that it changes up wherever it is in the set. It's like, okay, we're starting something new. We're turning a page. It's this song now.
The video was good for that, by the way, as well. When you were taking a shot of Jack Daniels, I thought there was going to be a pint of Guinness going down, but obviously no time. But totally. Moving on, If I Don't Make It Home Tonight, the longest track on the album, and this, I think, is a contender for the best track on the album. I think, because it slows things down. We get these huge harmonies. We get backing vocals giving this real choral feel. And again, when you get into the story, we're talking about journeys. You're talking about an old town can still be found. It's where we belong. Or is it somewhere you're looking for? So again, it's a perfectly positioned track, but a completely different song in terms of it's more melancholy and it's a completely different voice.
Yeah, I mean, taking I think going back to like our love of 60s and 70s albums, that was the time when you could do anything you wanted on a rock album, because rock is everything. It is melancholy. It is in your face, heavy. It is in times, upbeat and just like a rock or something. And then, like you listen to the albums that we love, where suddenly sitar comes in, or or you get like this crazy vibe of different influences in music, and and that's what made rock and roll, in my opinion, so incredible, and so touching. So I think that, when we got to the studio, and on day one, Bob was like saying, okay, I've got a bunch of vocalists. I want to come in for this. I've got a keyboard guy. I've got this. I've got that. I was like, our minds were blowing up. Like, it was like, really? This is all going to happen with our little record? And it was amazing. It does so much, and it adds so many layers to have
layers
backup.
that we've never had before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I truthfully, like, when I can't listen back to that or Dying Dove without crying. I just can't. Like, I tear up because it makes me so, I don't know, the power is overwhelming for me, and the way those two songs came about.
The moments that it starts swinging, the moment those harmonies kick in and you get the background vocals and you get that choral feel. And again, it's one of those Foreigner moments, isn't it? I want to know what love is. You can almost feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, and you're going to get these big beer drinking guys at gigs wiping away tears.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. It's the best.
Where is this old town then? Where can it still be found? What's what journey were you on looking for this? Is it somewhere from your childhood?
I'm gonna leave that one for me and Tom, and it's like some things are too personal to really open up on. If you don't mind.
But you've put that out there though.
For sure. But I want to keep. It's like, it's really important that everyone finds their own place,
Yeah, sure.
in the lyrics. Yeah.
So after you've come off at the back of that, and again, the album turns another corner, because Better This Way has got this sort of country flavor to it.
It's crazy, how that happened.
Sort of 80s vibe, and this sort of sing-along chorus, and okay, that's the story of the first boyfriend, or is it the first girlfriend?
Right, exactly.
Is it the boyfriend or the girlfriend?
Exactly. I'm not telling. Exactly, though. Yes, it is that first love, that primal.
What did you think about it?
It's pretty self-explanatory. Those lyrics are straight in your face. I don't have to talk too much about that waterbed, right?
I was just about to say the old waterbed sounded fun. But how did you feel about the sound of the trail offers? Because again, it's completely different to anything else that is on there. With that, it was almost like the Eagles.
Or like I hear Bryan Adams when I hear it. It's like, it's very, very different. And it's very strange the way that song came about, like, if I like a lot of the songs, it starts on acoustic guitar, so at first, like, you have that, the acoustic vibe and the acoustic feel. And then, when we bring it to the studio, it's like, well, it could go any which way and it could happen in any direction. But I don't know, there was just something very, very, I don't know how you would put it. Just simple, like a simple song in when I hear it, like that. Just already everything was there, like, and it just needed to be, recorded properly, enhanced the right mood. And I find that like that nothing interferes with it. It's like, sure, this is like a straight up easy listening pop rock song, and it's like it's not like who we are or what we are. It doesn't matter, but it works. It's a beautiful song. We played it live now on our cruise for the first couple times, like as an encore, and it went over fabulously. Like this is like, even the fans that we have never heard this song before. They're not. It's a brand new song, and there's just something about it that I don't know, that just grabs you.
Mirror's got a commercial feel to it. It's a good, really multifaceted pop song, really, but it works even within the confines of that being a rock and roll album. It sits well, and it's sort of like, you don't get stuck in a groove. There's just these subtle, changes and movements, and all night long you're back on full throttle again. This is the rock and roll. This has got to be the story of you and Tom. This is for sure. I mean, it can't be anything else really. Getting together, running away, talking about heading off to Paris and drinking all night and sleeping all day, and the guitar. Now, tell me that isn't the story of you two, or is it not?
Oh, not at all. No.
Who is it?
I have a little story about that song.
Go for it, PY.
Originally, that song was called Champagne on Ice, and we had it as like our banger, like party song, like our lives when we're at the peak of our existence. We just played a 10,000-seater show, sold out, and we get back to the Airbnb, and we got our champagne on ice, and we're partying. And then we brought it to Bob, and he's like, no. No. He's like, it could be better than this. Come back with, make it better. And then we did.
He says, he said, I don't buy it. I'm listening. I don't buy it. That was his words. I don't buy it. Like, there's something in here that was not.
Even if we were gung-ho on it, he didn't buy it. We were like, oh my God, it's the story of our lives, blah, blah, blah. But no. So, and he did make it, he did make us make it better. We came home and we were sitting all around in a circle in our studio, everybody pitching ideas for lyrics and names, and like, just being like, what does he want? What will make Bob buy this? And then, we went back and he bought it.
Track 8, Willow. Now, this is going to be many people's favorite album track on here. And this, I think, is the essence of why Bob said, you remind him of Led Zeppelin, but it isn't any sort of cheap rip-off or imitation of Led Zeppelin, because, you discover a completely different voice here. And I was going to actually say, was this when you were using the Frank Sinatra mic?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's this is yes, absolutely. I love the sound of that mic. That was the mic that worked best in studio. But this song is actually really, really remarkable, because when we were working on collecting demos, and just re-recording and getting things ready to work with Bob, Tom found this old hard drive that was just, lying around with little snippets and bits and pieces of things from long ago. And he came across like an electric guitar and me singing, and the whole song was written. The lyrics is the line, but there was no chorus, there was no like that, there was no midsection, all that where the band explodes and all that, but everything else was there. And the minute I heard it, like I got that tingling feeling, because it was probably, I don't know, 8 years ago or 7 years ago that we had recorded that. And I was just like, Tom, this is the song. This is the song. Send it to Bob. Send it to Bob right now. And Tom was like, there's nothing here. There's no chorus. There's nothing. I'm like, this is the song Bob wants to hear. Like, send it over. And me and Tom, we had a huge fight over like, let's try to re-record it. Let's work at it. Let's write a chorus. Let's do all these things. And I really put my foot down and made him send it. And we didn't sleep for like a day or two until we heard back from Bob saying, yeah, this is it. And the thing was, what he said was like, I know exactly what to do. because like we were like, what do you do? This is not a song. There's no chorus. There's no hook. There's no like. There's nothing. It's like, don't worry. He knows exactly what we're gonna do with it, and that whole idea of that midsection where where all that heaviness comes in and the double time at the end, and it's all like that was all ideas that were born in the studio with Bob, and it blew us all away. But
When
the
you
essence of the fact that it was like a hidden thing that we'd completely forgotten, that if Tom hadn't found this hard drive, the song would not have existed, because I didn't remember singing any of it at all.
This is going to be another epic on-stage performance, this, isn't it?
Oh,
Because
yes.
this is the moment, everything goes quiet in the audience, and everybody stands and listens and then just sort of takes it in, because it's like a special moment. Something great is happening here.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
I feel it. Sorry, what?
I said, or maybe not.
Oh no, we feel it for sure, for sure. So Dave, you were about to speak. Sorry.
No, I wasn't really. I mean, it's very, very, very amazing and awesome to hear, your take on all these songs, because, we're writing music from a place, a very personal place, and putting it out there, and there's the label and the manager and this guy, and everybody has an opinion of which songs matter and which songs are the ones, and which are the ones which are going to really land with the audience. And, and to hear back, we really, really, really all love The Willow, but it would be considered a B-side, and threw it on the back of the record, and you'll never release it as a single, but it was our tour manager who said, no, this is a single. This song is a single, So, and many people have echoed that feeling, that it's such a powerful and important song.
Yeah,
We've already begun to play it live, and it's really special to us, and it's clearly special to everyone. But I mean, to hear it from you and to hear it from many people, is special.
Killer Whale. So, I mean, I know people like to throw at you. You sound like this. You sound like Etta James. You sound like, Janis Joplin. This had a real Grace Slick feel to it, I thought, actually, Killer Whale. And it kicks off again. This is what stands out about this album, because it's not only the music, it's the stories. And after you've been involved in, the previous 7 tracks, and you're getting onto this thinking, right, what's up here then? And, it's somebody who's been given up or dumped. And then it gets into like really visceral stuff here. You made me crawl. I want to feel you in my soul. Are you still thinking about me in your dreams? Not the actual words that you use, but, so again, I think visceral is quite a good word, actually, that describes the whole thing, and added together with those vocals, it's another remarkable, song.
Well, thank you so much. First of all, mentioning Grace Slick, for me, she's a goddess in my book. I've loved her voice and her singing. I've been addicted to early Jefferson Airplane since I can remember. Actually, White Rabbit is the song that will forever and ever start our shows, because there's nothing better. That's our walk-on song we can never, and I don't think we can ever top it. So, I mean, the fact that you kind of hear reminiscent of my voice, of Grace, and I'm blown away, and thank you very, very much, because I love her. Killer Whale, it's a hell of a song. I don't know what to say about it. It's definitely powerful and different, and it's that driving guitar, that just gets you. That, like, for me, I kind of like, I'm a big walker. I walk around the city a lot. I like taking like 40 minutes, hour and a half walk. And when we got the album back, and I was just listening to it on my walks, and I just found that, like, when that song kicked in, I could walk fast as I've ever walked. I have this huge smile on my face. I'm like totally like into it. And I was kind of detached. Like I forget that it's us, you know, it's like, it's very different. And so I, and from a very personal level, I love it.
And to conclude then, you see, you're sat there and it's coming around to the last track and you're thinking, right, okay, so we've had country, we've had, yeah, punk and new wave, we got the rock. How are they going to end? And, you know, you end with another epic with Dying Dove. And I love the intro, the you know, what, 2, 3, 4 seconds of organ you get right at the beginning, which has a real Deep Purple feel to a real John Lord feel to that. And again, you get that, it's this melancholic feeling to begin with. And there's this classic 70s Zeppelin vibe that's going on. And then, you know, after all of this emotional upheaval with this storytelling that you've been, you know, writing about throughout the whole album, you end with, what is it? Maybe you and me, children of the moon and the sea, maybe we were just meant to be lonely. And it's like, Christ, what a way to end an album. It's like, no, life isn't that sad. You're not lonely. There's lots of fans out there, you know.
There's a lot of everything. It's like, again, it's the good and the bad and the hardships that come along. And I don't see it as pure devastation. Is the way you kind of are feeling it. I feel, but yeah, I mean, it's a moment in time, and it's a moment of what we were going through at the time of writing. There's just so much heartache and upheaval and war. And it affects us. It affects us deeply. We really try to bring peace and love and positivity everywhere we go. It's our motto. It's the community vibe in our shows is so important, and I make a point of it every single night that we need to take care of each other, and that rock and roll is what's going to save us. Because I really think that there's just so much upheaval, and there's so much stupidity, and it drives me absolutely up the wall, you know, when it shouldn't be, when all it should be is people taking care of each other. So I think that, you know, when you sort of talk about, you know, like the dying dove, for me, you know, it's like that last cry for peace and love, which I don't want to give up on.
So it's a fantastic album from start to finish. Obviously, it gets better every time that you play it, because there's so much going on in there that you feel like, you know, if you weren't affording it your total attention, then the next time you listen to it, you hear something that you didn't hear the last time that you were there. But most importantly, did it deliver on your hopes and your dreams when you set out on this project?
For us, you know, we've been pretty deep in this record for the past year or so, and it feels like the story of this record is only now commencing, even though we have released a few singles.
Yeah.
For me personally, it's what happens on stage that is the magic, and bringing this record to the stage and living it through our instruments with people in the room, living through their reaction, letting them join in to that music. That's where the music is really going to come alive. And I'm very, very excited for those moments.
How about you, Dave? Has it delivered everything that you wanted and you expected out of it?
I'll say that, you know, maybe my relationship or our relationship, but my relationship with the music is very different than the audience members' relationship with the music. So, you know, I'm thinking back on all the moments that we spent making this music and how it sounds as a full orchestration, you know, is for the audience, is for you. You know, to hear that you are loving it, you know, makes me quite satisfied. about it. I can think back to how I felt making the record, and it was an amazing feeling. Being in the studio, writing the songs, doing the demos, being with Bob, being with the band, sitting with the notepad. All of that is the record for me. Not necessarily the sum of its parts, but the moments like spent creating all of those little bits and pieces. So, we're really happy that so far I'm really happy so far that the feedback is so great, but I look forward to playing that song or those songs 1,000 times and having 1,000 new experiences with that song and 1,000 new emotions and 1,000 new environments. And, that's like, my relationship with the music. So, satisfied with the record, but craving, that feeling and that exhilaration of being on stage again and feeling the audience through the song. That's my relationship with the music.
And tell me, the album title, right? Again, is this a nod to the greats of the past who've released albums whose title is just the band name? I know we've had the Led Zeppelin things thrown in here. So is just releasing an album called The Damn Truth, is that just a doff of the cap?
Well, I think sorry.
We realized that we never used The Damn Truth like as an album name, and every time we do interviews or anytime we leave our house, people ask us about the name. The name is so jarring in its simplicity yet impactful. So for us, this record was that. It was The Damn Truth. This is us. This is the epitome of everything we've done. And so it was only right to name it The Damn Truth.
So where do you ultimately want to be then, as you look into the future? When you began out on this road together, when you all got together and you put the band together and you started to produce music, you must have had an objective. Was it to get a number one album? Was it to play, Radio City Music Hall famous venues, to do tours of Europe and the UK, come to London? What was the objective, and where do you ultimately want to go?
This band is
never want to stop playing all over the world. Never want to stop seeing our fans. Every now and then take a break, pop over, visit Bob, record some music, but never stop playing, man. Never.
Where we?
What about you, Dave?
Oh, he goes to go.
I mean, the thrill, the ultimate thrill, that we get to experience is to be on stage. There's an adrenaline, there's a high that takes you higher than any drug I've experienced so far. So to continue to tour and travel and see the world and have these experiences together and share the music and spread love is, I think, the goal. I think as you get older, also you kind of realize that the moments in between are really what form the it's not really about the goal, it's about the journey and the time we spent. So as we continue to make music and make records and tour and be in it is the joy, is the goal for me. But to get on stage, it really amplifies the feeling inside.
Are you going to get Bob involved on the next one, as it's been such a success on this one?
We'll take all those questions back to the committee. How about that? I don't think we've discussed any of that.
We'd love to see it, honestly, but we'll see what happens. But I mean, it's a pleasure to work with Bob, and it's really a blessing. So if we do get to receive that kind of luck and experience again, we will probably receive it.